Good afternoon. Welcome to another segment of the Jermaine Brown Sports Talk Show. Today is Friday, March the 28th, 2014. I want to talk today about a particular topic. Desean Jackson, was wide receiver of the Philadelphia Eagles, was let go today. And I want to discuss whether the Jets should or should not go after him, make a play for him. But before I talk about the Jets, let's talk about Desean Jackson and the Philadelphia Eagles. The man had a very productive season last year, and he now you could debate whether he deserved to be cut, whether he deserved to get paid more money. You could debate Philadelphia cutting him. I do not have an issue with Philadelphia deciding to let Desean Jackson go. But here's my problem with the move that they made today. They let him go amid a report that came out in NJ.com, okay, making it seem as if he's involved or have ties to gangs. Now, the article does not state that he was affiliated or is a reputed or known gang member. But it does state that he knows people who are. Now, let's be honest, folks. Unless you've lived in privileged neighborhoods, let's say you lived in a inner city or in the ghetto or any type of poverty-stricken area, you're going to know people who are involved in the underworld, so to speak. Okay? This is the way it works. Heck, even in the rich communities, you know people who are involved in the underworld. So he is really guilty by association. That's what this seems like. But what took place today was a hit job by the Philadelphia Eagles. Because why did you release him now? And then they tried to make it all, well, they didn't want to try to trade him and have some other team saddle with that. Bull crap, folks. First of all, the Eagles tried for over a month to move Desean Jackson. So we all knew about this. So why all of a sudden they want to make it look and come off as, oh my God, Desean is the bad guy? Because that's the way they tried to portray this as. Okay? Because you released him the same day that this report supposedly came out. Or around the same time this report came out. That seems rather suspicious. Now, there are some who are saying, well, Jermaine, so-and-so. If Desean Jackson feels that, he's being slandered, he should sue the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's why he cannot sue the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to give you two reasons why. And it would not be a very wise move on his part to sue the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm going to give you two reasons why. Reason number one is plain and simple. The article is not lying on Desean Jackson. It didn't tell untruths or lies. Okay? Desean Jackson do know people who are involved in gangs. Okay? One of the people that he knows was sitting in jail for a murder rap. Okay? Desean Jackson made some mistakes. Mistake number one was tweeting out a picture with this individual. That was not a smart move. Even though I understand this guy's on your record label, you can't be seen with him now at that point. That was not smart. And also flashing gang signs with those hand gestures. These young athletes got to understand, stop doing that. Because one of two things. Number one, if you're not part of a gang, you shouldn't be doing that. Don't flash gang signs. Because it can get you hurt if not killed. Second, if you are part of a gang, it is still stupid to flash gang signs because that is a recipe for aggression. Violence tend to take place when gang signs are flashed. It's best not to flash it, folks. So him flashing gangs, he helped create some of this mess. So that's the first reason he cannot sue the Philadelphia Eagles on this. Here's the second reason. He cannot prove that it was Philadelphia who leaked this article to sully his name. Okay, he cannot prove that. We suspect it. We believe that they did that, but we cannot prove that. And so if Desean Jackson was to take the Eagles or the NFL to court, there's a good chance he would lose unless he's got rock solid proof that it was the Eagles who put this article out to damage his reputation. And that's easier said than proved. Like I said, we all suspect it. We all believe it. But believing something and proving it is two different things. And you can best believe that the Eagles probably did a good job at covering their tracks. So it doesn't look like they were the ones who released this information. And we can't make it look, and folks, let's stop another thing. Let's stop saying, oh, well, he was released based on this information. No, he was not. This information was well known in the Eagles organization well before this article came out, because the detective who was investigating the murder cases even said as much that he contacted the Eagles back in 2011 to let them know that they wanted to question Desean Jackson. And what did the Eagles turn around and did? They went and gave Desean Jackson a brand new deal. So don't make it look like the Eagles didn't know this, folks. The Eagles knew Desean's history. Now I heard Sal Paolantonio says today, well, any team that wants to sign him should do a background check on him. They should have their security personnel, security team fly to Los Angeles or California and find out what's what, this, that, and the other. Let me speak on that. First of all, if you do that right now, there's a good chance you will not be signing Desean Jackson. Desean Jackson right now is a hot commodity. Unless there's something out there that we're not being privy to, that we're not told about, he's a hot commodity. He's not going to last in the market too long. This is the best receiver on the market. I mean, this guy's got blazing speed. He can catch. The guy can flat out play. Okay? Now, he came out and he categorically said he has no ties to any gangs and he's not part of any gangs. He's not a gang member. So to me, as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough for me. Not only that, you had over a month or two to do your due diligence because the word leaked out that the Philadelphia was trying to trade him. So you should have already have done your homework even before this release today. So you should already know if you're going to pull that proverbial trigger or not. If you're now making that move now, then that to me means you're behind the ball. You're behind the eight ball. You're slow to react. And then another team is going to come in and snatch them up. Now this gets to my beloved Jets. Should the Jets sign Desean Jackson? I say yes, and here's why. Number one, Eric Decker is not a number one receiver, folks. He's at best a number two. Let's get that out right now. The Jets currently do not have a number one receiver on their roster. Now, you can try to draft one, but when you draft one, you really do not know if he's going to pan out in the NFL. Desean has already panned out in the NFL. You know this. Desean is what we call a known commodity. And anytime you got a chance to get a known commodity versus an unknown, always go with the known. Okay? Secondly, you said, according to Rex Ryan and according to the owner, Woody Johnson, you're trying to win now. So if you're trying to win now, what better player to get than Desean Jackson? If you get Desean Jackson, what this does is this makes up for the fact that you kind of gutted the secondary of your defense and didn't sign, don't have adequate cover guys. Because at least now you got a legitimate playmaker on that offensive side of the ball. So you either got to be great on the offensive side of the ball or on the defensive side of the ball. That in order to win in this league, you got to be great on one side or the other. You got to be good on the other side as well, but you better be known, okay, this team is good at this. This is what we know them to be about. See, take a look at Seattle. Seattle's great on the defensive side of the ball. Pretty good on the offensive side, or adequate enough on the offensive side of the ball, but they're great on the defensive side of the ball. San Francisco, great on the defensive side of the ball. So therefore, you don't necessarily have to have a great offense. Now, I hear Seattle and San Francisco are two other teams very interested in Desean Jackson. This is why you can't now wait to do your research, or do your research right now. You should have done this a month or so ago when you heard Desean Jackson was available for trade. You should have done all your research then, because trust me, in the NFL, people talk. In the NFL, you don't think these owners talk? You don't think these general managers talk with each other? You don't think these coaches talk with each other? People talk. So these guys already have an idea about Desean Jackson. And like I said, it is in Desean Jackson's best interest. Don't try to pursue. Do it exactly the way you did it. Thank the organization. Take the high road. But taking the high road, you come off as the bigger person. Secondly, by immediately coming out and dispelling the rumors, saying, look, I am not part of a gang. I'm not affiliated with any gang. Okay? Now, he didn't say he didn't know of people, so don't call a man a liar. So unless there is some evidence or proof out there showing otherwise, we got to go by what this man said. And they say, well, how can you take his word for it? All right, let's take the detective's word for it. Because the detective in the same article that was supposedly damning to Desean Jackson, the same detective in the same article said, Jackson, as known, is not affiliated or known with any gangs. He is not a gang member. The detective in the article said as much. Didn't necessarily say as much. He said that. So now, are we going to call a detective a liar? So again, I just found it curious that the Eagles did it the way they did it. I personally think that was low class. Here's why I think the Eagles released Desean Jackson. One, there's some issues in that locker room where Desean Jackson and the coaching staff may have not been on the same page. And remember, this is a new coaching staff. They didn't draft Desean. Desean was getting ready to make about $10 million this season. So they didn't look at Desean as, oh my God, we got to keep Desean. Secondly, Chip Kelly most likely believes that he can get another receiver to do what Desean did and get him at a cheaper price. So am I saying that they did this for money reasons? Yes, because here's why. The trade rumors came the day after, or the day that Desean Jackson went to management and said he wants to renegotiate his deal. That's when now all of a sudden you heard about the rumors about him being traded. So this, to me, in my opinion, is about money. He got on their, he was already on their blacklist or on their bad side. But the final straw was when he went and asked for a new contract or a raise or a readjusting of his contract. That's when they said no more. That's what I believe really happened. And so to try to appease their fan base, because they knew there was going to be an outrage, and to try to appease the media because they knew there was going to be some blowback, they put this information out on Desean. I really believe that. Again, we can't prove it. This is why Desean can't sue. Because if Desean sues, he will be blacklisted in the NFL. You can best believe that. Oh, but wait a minute. The Brown character from the Cleveland Browns sued the league and he won. That's a totally different situation. He won and he was able to effectively sue the league and not get blackballed because why? An official made an error when he threw the flag and hit the man in the eye. So that was a physical damage. So he had to get paid. There was no you go blackball him. And the league properly settled the case to make certain that it didn't get to the courts. They settled it out of court. But in Desean's case, this is different. This is accusations and innuendo. Harder things to prove. It was easy for Brown to prove his case. Because why? Everybody saw the flag when he hit the man in the eye. The man has now got eye damage. That's easy to prove. This here is hard to prove. It's hard to prove that the NFL is negligent. It's hard to prove that Philadelphia was the one who leaked this information. Now, some people might say, oh, but no team would do that. Bull crap, because here's why. Tampa Bay did it earlier this season with Josh Freeman when they released his medical records and drew even the ire not only of the NFL but of the media and the fans. Even those who didn't like Josh Freeman said, you were out of line and wrong for this. This is why both the coach and the GM got their money. They got fired. Because these are things you just don't do. So don't think and say it hasn't been done before. The teams, when they want to really hurt you, they know how to word things to make it to lower your earning potential. So I believe they did that for a couple of reasons. Number one, they couldn't trade him, so they said, let's just cut him. But not only that, let's hurt his pockets. And by putting the word out, they were hoping to hurt his pockets. That's the reason why they did, the main reason they did this. And two, that again, keep the heat off from their fan base. Off of them. Because here, you letting go a very productive player, a top-notch player in his prime. I mean, he's no Larry Fitzgerald, he's no Calvin Johnson or Andre Johnson, but darn it, he's at that next level below these guys. You know, he's in that, what we call that second-tier, top-tier receivers. He is that good. And so he commands constant double teams. Now, Philadelphia, you got to replace that. And again, I got no issue with you wanting to get rid of him, but I do have an issue with the way you did that. And then these players who came out and spoke out against Desean. Let me explain something to you. And I'm not saying Desean wasn't a problem in the locker room. I don't know what's going on in the locker room. But here's what I do know. When you took the Philadelphia Eagles side on this, what you don't know is that if they could do this to this man, what do you think they can do to you? This was wrong the way they did it. I'm not saying they should not have released Desean. I don't know what went on in the locker room. I don't know what went on off the field. But here's what I do know. He hasn't committed any major crimes that we know of. That much we are aware of. He hasn't committed any major crimes. And yes, knowing people, yes, we all know somebody who's a little seedy, who operates under the law, or not under the law, who operates beyond the law, who tries to, who's from the criminal world. We all know people who, hey, come on, it is what it is. Now, again, Desean, I'm not totally absolving Desean because Desean helped create some of the mess he's in today. But he did not deserve what took place today. Not the way it took place, let me say. He didn't deserve the way it took place. This was an outright hit job. And the Jets, you should have already done your homework. You shouldn't be doing your homework right now on this man. You should have already done it because you knew that it was going to be traded. It would try to trade him. Your owner even said that you wanted him. So you should have already done your homework. Go sign this man. Don't let him go to Seattle or San Francisco or, God forbid, worse, go to New England. Don't do that. I want to thank you for watching another segment of the Jermaine Brown Sports Talk Show. Thank you and have a good weekend.